Hello everyone and welcome back. So Shogun 2 has been out for about a month and a half now, and as the people get higher in rank, we start unlocking different size battles. We're getting a good picture of what needs to be balanced here for this first big patch. And I think they're working mostly on bugs, so maybe they won't address big balance issues. But I've seen two things that really need balancing. And I've seen a lot of things over my playing time that I thought were unbalanced or cheap, but I eventually, found a way to counter them. Things like siege weapons I used to think were cheap, but really they're pretty easy to counter. And they're there, and if they ambush you, it's your fault for not bringing a scout cavalry or something. So a lot of things that I thought were unbalanced really was just me not knowing how to deal with them. But there are two things that I found that I'm still convinced are unbalanced. And so please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, but I will be speaking about what I think is unbalanced. Two things. Both kind of on the same subject, and those are monks. So let's first talk about Naginata monks. I won't talk about bow warrior monks, really. I'm not really sure about nerfing them yet. I think they're pretty much fine as they are. So let's start with Naginata monks. Again, with both of these subjects I'm going to talk about, power is not the issue. I have no problem with the killing power or the morale of Naginata monks. There's nothing wrong with that. They're supposed to be elite zealot units. I get that. That's fine. The problem is their spammability. At the moment, they cost, 50 more koku than a katana samurai and are nigh unbreakable. And you can just spam them. They have the same number of men in the unit, and you can just spam them to hell and win most of your battles. Especially, you have to really know how to deal with them. You'll see my video, Eat Shit Spammers. He used literally zero strategy. Didn't even move in a formation. Just spread them out really long and just rushed me. And I used a lot of strategy. And I barely won. Had 3 units like half strength, even less, left. And you can't see that and think they need balancing. You do, because just like any other unit that you spam, if you spam one unit, you should just be laughed off the field. Every other video, I think I only have one where they spammed a unit. But every other time I've seen somebody spam one unit, I've just laughed because it shouldn't work. A balanced army should beat spam every single time. And so, okay, how do you fix Naginata monks? Like I said, it's not the killing power. I don't want their attack nerf, their morale nerf, their defense nerf, nothing like that. What needs to be nerfed is the spam ability. So how do you do that? There are two ways, really. The first is to increase their cost. I don't have a number on what I would propose. Maybe up them to 1,000 base cost, just like the bow warrior monks. But I think a better solution might be to reduce the number of men in the unit. The other two monk units have reduced men. I don't see why Naginatas aren't too. They have the same number of men as katanas, and that shouldn't be right. They should have more like 90 men in the normal size, whatever I think is called large. But the general size that you get in 1v1s should have like 3/4 of the number of men that the samurai unit does. So you have a realistic chance of just cutting them down before they eventually whittle your morale down and rout you, because they will stand and fight forever. Don't need the general, don't need the radius, or anything. They're just unbreakable. You have to just cut them down. So you have to make it realistic for somebody fighting mass monks to be able to cut them down. And I think reducing the number of men in the unit by 1/4 would be just great. If they had 90 instead of 120, you could just tie them down and cut them down and laugh as you beat another spammer, which is what should happen if you spam one unit. So I think that would fix Naginata monks, because then not being viable as a spam unit anymore, you have to actually think about it, and you could bring 1 or 2 Naginata monks to the battle, and your monk placement would actually be a tactical choice, and would be a great addition to the game. I have no vendetta against Naginata monks. I never use them personally because I think they're OP, and I really don't like using OP units. And even if they were balanced, I still probably wouldn't. But I don't have an irrational hatred for them. If they were just a little more balanced, they'd be fine. They'd be a great tactical addition. You'd have to actually think about where you put your monks using that war cry effectively, and it would be great. I'd have no problem with them. So that's how I would fix Naginata monks. The second one is matchlock units in general. Mostly the monks is where it's worse. But matchlocks in general. And what's wrong with the matchlocks? Just like Naginata monks, it's not the power that's the problem. I understand that matchlocks are supposed to be these crazy killing weapons that mow down guys in big volleys. But if you're going to have that kind of raw destructive power that bows certainly don't, they need to be balanced somehow. There needs to be drawbacks. And so people say, okay, the drawback to ranged units is they suck in melee. Well, as it stands right now, there is no friendly fire from matchlock units. Yeah, I know technically there is, but it's insignificant. You don't need to think about it. Like, watch my video on the Fistful of Koku, the siege battle I did. I was running my general right in front of Cat Max's matchlocks, had no fear at all of being mowed down by bullets, and my general unit should have gotten mowed down. Standing in front of matchlocks should just get you blown away, and it doesn't in this game. I've myself fired through thick rows of Ashigaru and killed like 3 of them and then obliterated the enemy on the other side. That's not how it should be. Because you can sit your matchlocks behind infantry and camp, and there's no way to touch those matchlocks. And then they can mow you down because of the second problem with matchlocks, and that's the reload rate. I don't know what genius at Creative Assembly thought it'd be okay to let matchlocks reload in 3 seconds. I realize they're using the rapid fire ability, and that's a veteran ability, and as it stands, like, fresh matchlocks aren't too bad. They are OP, but they're not unbeatable by any means. I have a bunch of videos of me, one of me fighting a spammer who uses pretty much entirely matchlock monks, and I have another one and a couple others where they brought matchlock monks, and the common theme though is they weren't all veterans. So you have to actually reload the dang things. Like one of my newer ones about you cannot beat this. Like, you see that reload rate? They don't even go into a reload animation. They raise their rifles to shoot, they bring them down, and then they wait like 2 seconds, and then they raise them back up and shoot again. There's no way you can reload a matchlock that fast. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, some people say, oh, it's realism. Matchlocks are supposed to mow people down. Okay, well, and you're not complaining that they can reload a matchlock in 3 seconds? I mean, literally, that video is just Matchlock Samurai and Matchlock Ashigaru. Those aren't even monks, which are worse. Literally about 3 seconds. They can obliterate entire armies before they even get to your lines. And if you have veteran bow monks that can neutralize any kind of archers, you can't bring in cavalry on early cavalry action because they'll just get mowed down too. You just have 3 veteran matchlocks with that rapid fire. You can just set up a nice little box and camp. And the people who do this are the typical asshole ladder climbers that care about that stupid number above all things. So they will do anything to win, and they'll just camp in really suitable spots. And you can't beat it. You cannot attack it. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm a good attacker. I know I'm not the best Shogun player in the world, but I'm a great attacker. I can recognize defensive weaknesses and deploy well against all different kinds of situations. But these matchlock spam with the veterans you can't beat. That reload time is ridiculous. But even that wouldn't be so bad if there was friendly fire, because if at least they were rapid firing into their own men, it wouldn't be so bad because they'd be killing their own dudes like they should. But they don't. So those 2 things need to be fixed with matchlocks. There needs to be a floor on the reload time, say like 10 seconds or so. Just a minimum that you just can't reload faster than. It's ridiculous. Like, there's not even a reload animation on that rapid fire. I mean, that's completely stupid. Like, I don't know how you could watch that and think, yeah, that makes sense. You could reload a matchlock without even reloading it. Like, seriously? It's ridiculous. And the only people I see defending these 2 things are spammers themselves that probably couldn't win a battle with real strategy and have to depend on broken units. Yeah. So, those are the 2 things that need to be balanced. I mean, there are arguably other things. Maybe we could argue about, well, maybe Great Guard are a little overpowered. Maybe siege weapons are a little too accurate. But I think those things, even if they are theoretically a little overpowered, they're still pretty easy to deal with. Siege weapons, you can see the shot coming a mile away and juke it. I mean, there are counters to all these things, but you cannot beat that matchlock spam if they know how to abuse it. You can't do it. Your army will be obliterated before you even get to them. It's ridiculous. Like 30 seconds, your army will be dead. They can snipe your general, no problem. I think your general should be a little more resistant to matchlock shots. There's a reason why you can't just shoot arrows into your general unit and just kill them in one shot. I don't think matchlock should be able to do that either, because then you're just pushing them out of the melee range and you won't get that radius, and I think that could be fixed too. But matchlocks need some serious balancing. That's the one thing that's broken. If you can abuse that matchlock spam, it's broken and you cannot lose if you know how to do it. The Naginata monks are overpowered. They're not broken though. You can beat them. It's hard and you have to be very strategic. But you can beat them. They need to be nerfed, but they're beatable. The matchlocks are not. Those veteran matchlocks, there's nothing you can do. You cannot get in their range. I'm going to do a video showing exactly how dangerous they are. So look for that in the coming days. And so that's what I think needs to be fixed. Please give me your opinion in the comments section below. Please try and be respectful. Because we're all just trying to play this game and have fun. And actually, no, there's one other thing that needs to be fixed. Now that I think about it. It's not about units. Well, sort of tangentially it is. But it's ultra battles. Ultra battles suck. I hate ultra battles because, like I've always talking about in my videos, I always say like there's like the quality-quantity spectrum. and you're supposed to like find your spot on that line and think, well, I like more quality units, and you'll have lesser numbers of better units. Or you think, well, maybe I'm a little more on the quantity side, and you bring more lesser quality units. And they both have trade-offs. The quality side has great units of good quality, but you just don't have very many of them. And you still have to think about it strategically of where you want them to be, and you have to really plan in advance and make good attacks. On the quantity side, you have more units to work with, but they're not as good as the quality side units, and micromanagement becomes a lot harder. So there's the trade-off there. You have to choose which side you're on, or maybe somewhere in the middle, and take the advantages and disadvantages that come. In ultra-sized battles, there is no quality-quantity spectrum. You can just spam those power units, and it sucks. It really removes a dimension of the game. Now, I'm not saying take ultra battles out. If you want to play ultra battles, like, fine, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying you have to play the game the way that I like it. If you like ultra battles, fine. But I wish there were a way to choose and like filter it. There's no reason I think why your battle size should be completely determined by the rank. Like, if I'm rank 10 and I just want to play medium and large size battles, I don't see why there isn't a filter for that, because I think ultra battles are just broken at this point. Maybe if these balance issues get worked out, maybe I'll like them some more. But I still think it just comes down to stroking your veterans. And there's no balance between quantity and quality that I think is important in a strategy game. It really makes medium and small battles interesting to see the army compositions. Like, you see really extreme ones like my video 300, where it's my quality side against the enemy's quantity side. It was a great battle. We were both strategic. I ended up being a little better. He had a hard time micromanaging, which is a weakness of quantity side armies, and I pulled out a win. But it was a good battle. We were both strategic, and it was so much fun. It was great. I love that. But if this game turns into power spam and just people abusing broken shit, then what's the point of playing? This is a strategy game. It should be strategy beating strategy and not just out-muscling the enemy. So that's why I think it needs to be balanced. So please let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.